Alright, so for some reason I decided to learn Unity. I decided the easiest way to go about this is probably just to buy a course on Udemy and watch it and get my base information from that. After doing that, I had the stupid idea to work on a 3D game, and for some reason I decided to make it a bullet hell, but that deserves its own video. So I thought joining a game jam is probably a nice idea, and I've been recommended the Miz Jam. I decided to join. The rules were simple. Everybody had to use the same art kit. So I got to work. I've never worked with tile sheets before. So the first few hours were spent learning how to use them. And even after that, I still had some weird issues. But that wasn't the main concern, so I moved on. My idea was to make a platformer, with the difference that you could switch between 3 different characters. Every character has his own abilities. The goal is to reach the end with all 3 of them. So, step 1 was to make some smooth 2D movement. For that, I watched a couple of videos. Most of them were about jumps. I'm quite happy with how it turned out, so let's move on. The ability to switch between the characters is obviously the most important thing about the game. Programming it was actually pretty easy. All I had to do was turn one character off and instead turn the other one on. It turned out to be quite a few if statements, so later on I decided to make it its own script. So now you could switch between characters, but the camera always stayed in the same place. After a few minutes of research, I found a useful tool called Cinemachine. It basically lets you assign an object which the camera then follows. After a bit of tweaking, I got it to look quite smooth. So next up were the abilities. Every character has its own unique abilities. You have to use all 3 of them to beat the level. Character 1, for example, only has a simple jump, but wields a sword which he can use to slay enemies. Character 2 can jump higher and has a double jump. And character 3 can't jump at all, but he can collect items. Implementing animations was kind of annoying at first, but after trying around with it a little bit, I got it to work. I thought the game could use some particles. So whenever the player switches directions or jumps, these little trails appear. Now the game was pretty playable already, but there was something missing. Audio. So I made some sound effects. I thought it would be pretty boring to just go on the internet and search up some sound effects, so I made my own. They turned out to actually work quite well. But was still missing something. Soundtrack. I don't have the slightest idea of composing songs, so I basically searched up 16-bit music maker on the internet and found a pretty funny online tool. I basically started with randomly placing notes, and it didn't sound that bad. The final soundtrack sounded like this. Okay, so everything sounds quite well, but it still lacks the looks, so I added some post-processing. Now that's better. Now it was the final day and had made some great progress, but there were still only 2 levels. So my entire Sunday basically consisted of making the 3rd level. I decided to make it a boss battle, and to be honest, I'm quite proud of how it turned out. So the game was all set up and ready for submission. But something about the itch.io submission system confused me quite a bit. I simply wasn't sure if my submission got through or not. Everything ended up being okay, so I won't complain. I decided to call the game Hero Trio. Some people already commented on it and have given me some great feedback. If you want to give me some feedback on the game, just visit my itch. If you want to give me some feedback on the videos, just leave a comment. Anyways, have a great rest of your day and see you next time.